Cape Town is without question one of the best cities I've ever been to in my whole life. So I'm just going to get straight into it. It's located on the coast of South Africa, which means you're going to get some amazing climates, you're going to get hiking opportunities, you're going to get to see safari animals, you're going to get to stay in beautiful, luxurious places. So we stayed in a few different locations around Cape Town so that we could get a feel for different vibes across the city. But the best place for me, in my opinion, was staying in Camps Bay. This is Penthouse City. If you want to have the high living experience by the beach, where you can see the ocean and see the sunset and sunrise, Camps Bay is for you. That's where you should stay. Near Camps Bay, there's a beach and there's also bars and restaurants along there. But there's no real clubs or party type scene around that area. If you want to get that vibe, you should stay nearer to Long Street, which is where all the clubs and bars and party and nightlife is. And we'll come on to more about that in a bit. One of the advantages of staying near Long Street would be that it gives you easy access to start hikes. And if you've been to Cape Town before, you know that those hikes, there's something. So the first hike I'd recommend that everybody does is Lion's Head. This is a lot of fun. It is challenging though, so you have a decent level of fitness. Make sure that you've been doing your incline on the treadmill in the gym, whatever, because there is a lot of vertical incline and then there's also climbing involved as well. And I'm not gonna lie, Cape Town's hikes are not the safest hikes I've ever seen. There are some drops, so make sure you're prepared for that, and yeah, don't drop. The view at the top of Lion's Head is insane. This is one of the best views you'll ever see in your life. You get the whole coast of the city, and if you can go during sunrise or sunset, it's gonna look amazing. So Lion's Head, definitely one that I'd recommend. Takes about an hour and a half to get from the bottom to the top. But Cape Town, you just got to talk about views. If you want to get the best views, there's so many spots for this. One of the best ones is Chapman's Peak. Now this is a scenic coastal road that goes along the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. And have a look as you're driving along. It will be some of the craziest views that you ever see along that drive. And speaking of views, you've got botanical gardens in the middle of the city. So Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens is well known as a 36-hectare garden in the middle of Cape Town, but it also is the starting point to Table Mountain hike, which is why a lot of people will go through the gardens, but not many people will spend enough time there. We went for a couple of hours, but we thought that we could have spent a whole day there. There's so many different things to see, so much different plant life to experience, and you've got a canopy skywalk in there as well. So don't just pass through there to get to Table Mountain. Actually stay in the garden if you can. Now, of course, from Kirstenbosch, you can start one of the many hiking routes up Table Mountain. It is a big hike. It's a challenging hike, but there is a cable car that can get you to the top of the mountain very quickly. It takes about 5 minutes from the base to the top that you can get. You'd have to go a different route to start that cable car, but it will take you all the way up, so you're good. So if you are a beginner hiker, I'd recommend taking the longest route, which will take a few hours, but it's the safest, the least risk for you. If you're experienced, you might want to take a quicker route, but again, there's more danger. So you've got to weigh up the pros and cons and look at your level of ability. If you're someone who's thinking, I want to see the top, but I don't want to hike, get the cable car. I did not know that there were penguins in Africa, but Cape Town showed me that there was penguins in Africa. So if you go to Boulder's beach, you'll find a ton, but loads of penguins that are along there. And just to give some background behind them, they are an endangered species, so you are not allowed to go up to them close and touch them or anything like that. You can see them from a distance and film them. You'll notice that a lot of them are losing their feathers. Don't worry, that is not due to any kind of environment condition or any health problem. That is because when they reach teenage, they shed their feathers. That's what happens to them. So go and check out those penguins. That's a really cool experience. But if you want to see the big animals, you got to do the safari. So Aquila Safari was a 2-hour drive from Cape Town. When you get there, you basically get to stay in this reserve, which has different rooms, like hotel rooms for you to stay in, and then also has a spa on site. But then just a few meters away on the other side of the gate, you will be entered into the reserve where all the wildlife is staying. Lions, elephants, rhinos, hippos. You're going to see everything in there. We actually saw 4 of the big 5 wildlife animals. The only one we didn't get to see was leopards, because they hadn't seen them in a while. What I would suggest is staying there for 2 days or 1 night. So on the first day, you do an afternoon drive. And in the afternoon, you'll see some certain animals in their certain habitat. But then the next day, you know, after you've had your spa treatment and all that the night before, you wake up, you go for an early morning one, and you see the animals in the morning. They are way more active in the morning than they are in the afternoon. Probably because most of them haven't fed yet, so they haven't eaten and gone to just rest. They're moving, you see them in action, you get to learn a lot more about them, and you get to drive past them in a safari jeep. Let's say you just want to chill, you just want to go out, meet some people, socialize, and do all that type of stuff. Cape Town's got you. So we visited Stellenbosch, which again is about 1.5 hour drive from Cape Town, where you probably see some of the most beautiful wineries that you'll ever see in your entire life. So Stellenbosch is this massive, massive region, this massive town. In order to get along it, you get on this tram, which is going to stop at different points to take you to different wineries. Now, when you get to different wineries, there's different menus, different vibes, different environments. So you get to see maybe 2 or 3 different ones I'd recommend if you're going for 1 day. So we stayed there for most of the day, and then we ended the day by visiting De La Graf, which is a hotel restaurant type thing where they have lots of different wine that you could sample from there as well as serving dinner. We went there for dinner around sunset, so we got to see some amazing views, and then also ate some fantastic food as well. Highly recommend this whole experience, especially if you're a couple going out to Cape Town. This is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Now, after you've had some wine, maybe you're feeling a little bit of a buzz, you want to go out and do something. Well, there's clubs in Cape Town as well, loads of them. So if you go to Long Street, that is pretty much their strip where all their bars and nightclubs are. The best night was one that we just went out for dinner around the Kloof. Now in that area, you've got lots of different local type of establishments where you can go out to eat, and there's quite nice food there, quite nice sort of upmarket restaurants. If you're from London, think more like your Shoreditch type of area or something like that. One thing you do have to be aware of though, whenever you go to Cape Town, this is a disclaimer, as fantastic and incredible as the city is, lots of the people there don't have much. So for that reason, they have a very high rate of crime, a very high rate of crime. If you go out at night, do not walk along the streets alone. Do not walk along the streets alone. In fact, don't walk along the streets in general. I would get a taxi everywhere at nighttime, definitely. Also in the day, be aware, because there are people who will be pickpockets. There are people out there who, there's a lot of knife crime. There's a lot of potential risk if you go to a place like this. That's the reality of it. So make sure you got your wits about you and be safe everywhere you go, not just Cape Town. Now, I've been having these type of adventures all around the world, and I've been filming and documenting them for this YouTube channel. If you like what you saw today, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like and a comment, and I will see you on the very next adventure.